Hey everybody, it's Sam here from Sugar Spun Run, and today I'll be showing you how to make iced oatmeal cookies. Iced oatmeal cookies are a simple, classic cookie recipe. Maybe you've had these dense, chewy oatmeal cookies with their simple vanilla glaze from the store before, but I can guarantee you nothing beats today's homemade version. To begin, you'll want to start by preheating your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, you are going to need 1 cup or 2 sticks of unsalted butter. Now you'll want to melt this butter and then let it cool for about 5 to 10 minutes or until it's no longer hot or very warm to the touch. You don't want the butter to be too hot or you run the risk of melting your sugar, which is going to make your cookies spread all over your oven. So let it cool, and then we are going to add 1 cup of tightly packed dark brown sugar. We'll also add a ½ cup of granulated sugar, and then just use a spoon or a spatula to stir everything together really well. One thing I love about these iced oatmeal cookies is that because we've melted our butter, you do not need a stand mixer. You can do everything by hand. Next, we're going to add 2 large egg yolks, and yes, this is just the yolks. We're not using the whites for this recipe. By just using the yolks, we're going to end up with a nice tender and chewy cookie. We'll also add 1½ teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. And then just stir these ingredients together until they're nicely combined. Okay, set your wet ingredients aside, and next you are going to need a separate large bowl with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. The other dry ingredients that you'll need include a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, and a ½ teaspoon of cinnamon. Now we're just going to stir these together until they're nicely combined. We're not going to add the oats yet, but I haven't forgotten about those. Okay, bring back that butter mixture, and we are going to gradually add our flour mixture into that bowl, stirring until everything is well combined. I like to stir in the flour in about 3 or 4 parts. It just makes it easier for everything to get nicely absorbed. So at this point, our cookie dough is obviously lacking one critical ingredient for oatmeal cookies, and that is the oats. We're going to set this dough aside, and the oats do require a little bit of preparation. You're going to need 2 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats for this recipe, and what we're going to do is we're going to pulverize them in a food processor. I'm going to add these to my food processor, and we're just going to pulse these oats several times, up to 10 times, until they have a coarser texture. You do not want to pulse them until they're just oat flour. I'll show you exactly what you want it to look like. So that was about 8 pulses, and our oats are looking pretty good. So now we're going to pour these into the rest of our cookie dough and stir until everything is nicely combined. Now this dough gets pretty stiff and pretty dry, so make sure you are getting the bottom of your bowl as well, any oats that might be hiding down there. So once everything is nicely combined, you are going to need a parchment paper lined cookie sheet, and we can begin scooping our cookie dough. I recommend scooping this dough by about 2 to 3 teaspoons of dough per cookie. And we're just going to lightly roll the dough in our hands to make a nice round ball. That's going to give all of our cookies a nice uniform shape. I also like to just gently flatten each cookie dough ball with my fingers before baking. Now we'll transfer our cookie dough to our 350 degree Fahrenheit preheated oven, where we will bake it for about 12 minutes. So once your cookies have finished baking, you'll notice that the edges have turned a light golden brown, and you're going to want to let them cool completely on the baking sheet. Now while they're cooling, we can go ahead and make our frosting, but keep in mind we do not want to dip these cookies until they are completely cool. Otherwise they'll fall apart in your frosting. It'll be a mess. Don't go there. So anyway, let's prepare our frosting. You're going to start with some powdered sugar. So this is 1½ cups of powdered sugar. I do want to stress one more time that you are not going to want to start making this until you've baked and cooled all of your cookies. This frosting or glaze or whatever you want to call it, it's going to start setting up after it's sat in your bowl for a while, so just wait until your cookies have cooled before we begin making it. We are going to start now because I don't want to make this video an hour long for you. Okay, we have our powdered sugar. Next, we are going to add our milk. You'll need about 1½ to 2 tablespoons of milk to make this glaze. I'm going to start with 1½ tablespoons. We are also going to add a tablespoon of light corn syrup. Now I tried this recipe a few times without corn syrup. It will work. You might need a little bit more milk, but I really recommend using the corn syrup. It's going to help your frosting to set nice and hard. It's going to be really shiny and pretty, so I recommend the corn syrup if you have it. We'll also add a ¼ teaspoon of vanilla extract for a little bit of flavor. And just use a spoon or a whisk to stir everything together until you have a nice smooth glaze. Now, as you can probably see, this glaze is just too thick. We want a thick frosting, but this is too much. So we're going to add our extra ½ tablespoon of milk, and you can even add more if needed. All right, this looks a lot more like it. As you can see, if I lift the spoon up out of the frosting, when it falls back in, it holds its shape for just a second before fading back into the rest of the mixture in the bowl. So that's how I know that it's done. So once that frosting is finished, now let's bring back our cooled oatmeal cookies and we can start dipping them. So to dip our cookies, you're just going to hold them at their base just like this, and we are going to just press the cookie gently, just the surface of the cookie, into our icing. So just pull it straight up out of the frosting, and then we'll transfer that back to our cookie sheet or a cooling rack and let that frosting set. Once you've dipped all your cookies, all that's left is for you to let them sit at room temperature for at least an hour, possibly several hours, until the frosting has dried all the way through. It'll be nice and firm and shiny at that point, and you can dig right in. That is all there is to making these iced oatmeal cookies. I hope you guys enjoyed today's recipe, and if you try it out, please leave me a comment. I love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you guys enjoyed today's video, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. Make sure to hit the notification bell, and here are a few other cookie recipes you might like as well.